Hi guys, welcome back to Saving Salvage and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, as I'm sure you've already seen by my thumbnail, there is some bad news, RE the RS4. I've actually come back and redone the introduction because my original one was way too upbeat for what you're about to see. So there will be, I've actually filmed this video over a period of 2 weeks now. The bit you're about to see, the engine going back in, changing the start motor, is what I did a few weeks ago, and the ending you'll see anyway, where I cut, and it's a few weeks later, and this is where we are up to now. But I've come back and redone the introduction because my original one didn't suit the mood, so to speak. So as always guys, if you do enjoy these types of videos, the good and the bad, please do subscribe. And if you haven't already, please do head over to my Instagram page, which is saving_salvage. So we'll crack on with today's video and see what the problem is with my RS4. So there is the offending part. So that's now off, and I have actually, new starter motor came today, and I have just refitted it. So obviously, as you can see, to get back to this point, engine out, exhaust manifold back off. I took the coolant pump off. I ended up taking the engine mount out as well, the bracket for the engine mount out as well, which gave me complete clear access to the starter motor, which is behind this heat shield here. Obviously just lifted the heat shield out of the way, and then it's just easy 1-2 bolts and then bring it out. A lot of people saying, oh, why is it so difficult to get the starter motor out? Normally, obviously the engine being completely fixed into position, you should take the gearbox out, and that is purely because, look, there is just no space at all to get the starter motor out, and that is purely because it's an A4, so it's quite a small car. It's not as big as an A6, which means the engine bay isn't very big, and obviously such a big engine, you're always going to have limited space. So unfortunately, and obviously the starter motor has got to go on the back side of the gearbox, so it's got to sit either this side or the other side. There's no real way around it. So unfortunately, that is just what you get having a big engine in a smaller car. So yes, it was easy for me to drop the engine and gearbox because I already had the engine basically half. It was only just back in. I only put the bolts back in and a few wires on the top. Normally you would have just taken the gearbox out, which is actually a complete pain in the arse with access and stuff. So trying to get all these bolts at the top of the engine, top of the gearbox, sorry, with the engine in position is a nightmare, and just all but loads of, it's just so much more difficult with the gearbox and engine in position into the engine. So that's why I dropped the engine and gearbox. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's a big engine, small car. Put the exhaust manifold back on, build it. I'm not going to show you all again because I've already done it once before. So I'm now just going to crack on off camera, rebuild that side of the engine up and get it back into the car. So you should see it all back together in 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Back in. So everything is done, back to where I was before. However, I haven't, obviously for obvious reasons, gone ahead and put the bulkhead cover in and tidied up all the wiring and had everything connected, etc. I've just got it to a point where I've run my big engine harness to the ECU. I have fitted the ECU properly in there, but I haven't just put the cover on. And our starter cable, I've just ran that and left that just balancing there, but I've connected all the wires and the earths up. So we are in a position where it should now turn over as I was before. I've disconnected the fuel pump so the fuel won't pump, because what I want to do is I want to turn the engine over without any compression, just to get the oil pumping a little bit of oil around the engine before we try and start it, because obviously it's bone dry. So we've got no spark plugs in, so there's no compression at the moment. The fuel rail disconnected, so it should just turn over. So let's go for it. turns over. So, oh, I can still smell fuel though. That's only a little bit. Right, so that's good. Engine turns over, sweet. We are better off than we were before. I do have gearbox oil pumping out. I don't know how to really stop that. I haven't got the gearbox connected, so it must be a mechanical pump. So I might, if I can reach it. No, it's not going to let me start it if the gearbox isn't plugged in though. Well, it don't matter because I'm changing the gearbox oil anyway, so as long as it only pumps up like that and not horrendous. So I guess this is the moment that we've all been waiting for, and the moment I have been the most nervous about during this whole thing. Because don't forget that there's no guarantee that this engine is actually fine. Just because I found one bent con rod doesn't mean there's other problems with it that I couldn't see or didn't find. So there's every chance that this engine may start and not run properly, or there's God knows how many different issues there still could be with this engine. Obviously the whole point was to try and fix it. If we have, then sweet, I've saved myself 3-4 grand on buying a second-hand engine. If not, then I've wasted £500 trying to rebuild this one. So I guess there's only one way to find out. So it's all back in, coil packs are back on, spark plugs are in, so fuel rails and rail been reconnected. Obviously, if it does start, I won't be able to run it for very long because I have no coolant going anywhere. I've got air lines, vac hoses are absolutely everywhere. So if it does start, it will only be for a few seconds. And I haven't got the exhaust connected either, so it's going to be pretty loud. I should probably connect it to be able to hear the engine, but we will give it a go. So for the first time, turn it off. I instantly shit myself because it was so loud and turned it off. I think what I'm going to do is just connect the exhaust, because as you heard, I don't know how it comes across on camera, but that was very loud, and there's no way in hell I'll be able to hear for any instant problems with it that loud and turn it off quick enough. So I am just going to quickly connect the exhaust and then we'll try that again. But it started! That's not good. That didn't sound good. So guys, just to cut in there, it's actually been a few weeks now since you've just watched that last clip of the engine turning over, starting, and then instantly pretty much stopping. Obviously not what I wanted to hear or see. I haven't done anything since. I've literally just been pretty about the whole thing, to be honest. I don't know what's wrong with it. I can't think of what could be wrong with it at the moment. Obviously when I was putting them back together, double checked absolutely everything and everything was spot on. I could say it was maybe a little bit difficult to turn over with by hand, but it is a V8 and I didn't really think anything of it. Don't get me wrong, I don't know why. I haven't stripped, as you can see that the engine is still in. I haven't done anything about it yet. I have just been weighing up my options. So I think because I've got so much stuff to show you guys still, I've got 2 cars out there and waiting to film as well. We've got to finish the Polo GTI off and a few other bits, and now this is unfortunately for the moment going to have to take a back seat while I work out the best course of action, because obviously I've spent near on 500 quid rebuilding this. It was always going to be a cost and it was always going to be a risk. Obviously it could have paid off, and this occasion it hasn't. What I plan to do, I'm not going to film it because obviously you've seen me rebuild it once before. When I do have some time, I am going to take the engine out, and it feels more bottom end than top end because the engine is very locked. And the top end, if it was like the pistons hitting the valves or anything like that, there would still be a bit of movement, but there isn't. So I have a feeling it's bottom end, so when I do have some spare time, I am going to take the engine out. I have bought an engine stand now actually though, bit of good news. So that is down there somewhere, so I'm going to get it on the stand, I'm going to flip it open, I'm just going to crack off, remove the sump, second sump, and just see if I can see anything obvious. But I can't think what else there could be. I'm just trying to think if there's anything wrong with the engine. Obviously it hydro-locked and we had a bent conrod. Now I'm thinking, was there anything else that obviously we couldn't see? I just don't know at this point. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to spend a little bit of time. If I can't see anything obvious, I'm not going to waste any more time. I will just buy a new or second-hand engine. So that is where we're at. But obviously all that is going to take quite a long time, especially with how busy I am. So the plan is to take the engine out, get it on the engine stand. I'm going to leave the suspension in the RS4 so we can put the front wheels on, and we are going to push it out of the workshop, and it's just going to go onto the back burner for the moment, guys, because I need to swap arms because I've got other cars to do and show you. And there is an exciting video coming in the next week or two as well. There is a reason I've been working very hard over the last sort of 2 months, and that is to put a deposit down on a car. I'm sure if you follow me on Instagram, it will be fairly obvious what car it's going to be, but all will be revealed in the next sort of 10 to 14 days on that front. So work is still really busy. However, because it's so busy, and obviously September as well, which is notoriously busy for new car month, I am actually going to look to employ a driver to take some of the driving away from me so I can spend some time in the workshop. Because don't get me wrong, although driving is good money, it pays all my bills, it is not something that I really want to do. I'd much rather be in the workshop repairing, fixing cars and videoing them for you guys. So I am going to look to employ a driver to do the driving for me, which means I can then spend some more time in the workshop, because it is a massive struggle at the minute. I know some of you are saying just give up driving and go in the workshop full time. It is really not that easy. YouTube pays nowhere near enough for me to be able to live off. Just to give an example, what I earn from YouTube might cover some of my bills, won't touch my mortgage, won't touch food, won't touch anything like that. It might cover council tax, electricity, a few other bits, but it will not do anything for me. So if I am going to do this, it needs to be at the right time. So I just need to, at this point, keep building it, and hopefully it will at one point in the near future become sustainable for me to go, right, that's it, I don't need to drive anymore. I can now comfortably do this and not have to worry about keeping a roof over mine and my family's head. So that is the plan. I want to get a driver in to help me out so I can be in the workshop more. So that is the plan going forward. So guys, naturally that is the end of the video. I thought I'd show you what happened. No reason why not, nothing to hide here. So just very unfortunate, and that is it. So I'm gonna I might film it. I'm gonna do the Polo GTI next and get that finished, because someone has actually given me a deposit for that car and they want to buy it. So I do need to get that finished as well, because that has obviously been dragging out a lot as well. So in the next video, guys, we will be on the Polo GTI, and I have got some seats for it. I'm going to be unveiling them, fitting them, test driving the car, and then hopefully that will be done. And then I have two new cars to show you, which I have both bought from, unfortunately, Copart. However, they were cheap, and I will show you them in the next few weeks as well. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and if you do enjoy these videos and you want to see me do this full time, please do subscribe. So as always guys, thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next one. Cheers guys.